Go.
Alright, what's going on, guys? Today is Monday. I don't remember the date. X, what's the date right now? Do you know?
I have no clue.
Alright, we have no clue. But today is a fun Monday because... 28th, there we go. He's looking at the camera. Today is... It's October still, right? It's not November yet. October 28th, guys, and this is day one of my post-Nationals off-season training block. I know that last video I alluded to the fact that I would be working with a new coach, and that is what I will be announcing for you guys today. So if it wasn't obvious, if you guys know De Novo, it wasn't obvious with the De Novo shaker, De Novo pre-workout, De Novo shirt, I will be working with Ben Esgro, the owner and CEO of De Novo Subs, as well as the coach at the Strength Guys with Jason Tremblay. So I'll be working with both of them. I've had a great relationship with Ben for years, and after Nationals I just had to sit down with him, talked about kind of how my prep went going into Nationals, kind of what my expectations were over the next few years, and I can't stop shaking this, I'm sorry guys. And he really wanted to help me, and I really wanted to work with him. I trust him a lot in more aspects than one. He's a great friend, great mentor, great sponsor, and I'm just really excited to start this prep and show you guys kind of what we're going through, because it's going to be very different than my style of training prior to this. It's different from how I program for my lifters. It's different from how I program for myself. We're not planning on doing a meet for a little while now. We're going to accumulate a couple really productive training blocks, and everything's percentage based. So I'm going to show you guys, my workout for today. The weights are predetermined for me for pretty much the next 6 weeks, which is very strange for me because I love working with RP, especially on bench, but things are percentage based, and at first I was a little hesitant, but there's the thing about Ben, both as a coach and as the owner of De Novo, it's like he is very thoughtful with his decisions, and there's always a reason behind everything that he does. And I think this extends to all of you who are working with a coach. Like, you have to trust the person that you're working with, because that buy-in effect plays such a big role in your progress that's intangible, unlike the recovery, the programming, the eating, all that sort of stuff. It's like this little X factor that plays such a big role in that mental game that leads to progress over time, and then ultimately improves the relationship with the coach. So today, Monday, SBD day, I have 4 sets of 7 on squat with 458 pounds, 4 sets of 6 on bench with 308 pounds, pretty light, and then 4 sets of 5, I think, on deadlift with 534 pounds. So again, it's the intro week, everything should be pretty light, and by week 6, I'll be doing some AMRAPs, so that'll be fun. By week 6, you better still be watching. The way that I'm going to structure this series for you guys, I don't even have a name for it yet. You guys will figure it out when you see the name of this video coming out. But I'm going to put out 2 videos a week because I'm training 4 days a week with a break in between. So after the first 2 days, I will have a video for you guys, and then after the last 2 days, I'll have a video for you guys. So by week 6, when I'm testing AMRAPs, that'll be the 12th episode of this series for the first block. Let's get to work. I'm done talking. What's up, Nala? So, I was gonna do a recap of each lift after I completed them, but I was trying to move through today's workout pretty quickly, trying to adhere to the rest times that were prescribed to me. Overall, today was solid. I definitely feel pretty detrained. Last week, I didn't really do much of anything. I don't think I squatted more than 400 pounds, didn't deadlift over 500 pounds. Bench, I obviously kept up, so bench is fine because it's not taxing, so I just benched every day like I normally do. But today went okay. Squats, you guys saw, were 4 sets of 7 with 458s. My adductor is in a lot of pain right now. It's been hurting for the past 3 months, honestly, and it's just gotten worse every single session. As I was coming into nationals, it got to the point where it hurt to squat every day. It used to be the case that it would just kind of flare up on a set or a rep. And now it hurt all the way up. Like, I tried to do every intervention I could prior to squatting, but it didn't really help. I tried squatting wider than I normally do, and that relieved some of the pain, but you don't want to just keep moving closer to your end range to be comfortable. Like, when you move closer to your end range, you're essentially just relying on the end range of your joints for stability rather than actually relying on the stability that's created through movement proficiency and your muscles actually being able to stabilize the positions you need to get into. So this is not a habit that I want to continue. Eventually I would just have to go wider and wider and wider. The pain would keep coming. It would start to surface at that wider stance that feels comfortable now, and I'm just digging myself into this hole that I can't get out of. So Pat Davidson, that you guys saw in one of my previous videos, if you haven't watched it yet, go check it out. He gave me a recommendation for a PT in the city at Resilient Performance Physical Therapy. I've been following their page forever, but didn't know the PT guy by name, so I'll be going to him, and I'll probably record that session for you guys because I think it'll probably be really helpful for all of you who have groin pain or any sort of issue with your big 3 movements to see what a qualified, competent PT can do when he's at work. Bench was very light. I tried to pause them obnoxiously long. I told Ben prior to this whole cycle starting, I'm like, I'm gonna pause all of my benches super long this cycle because the prescribed weights are super light. And I think after the 6 weeks, we'll come to the conclusion that I can handle more intensity for a given rep range than I would be able to on squats and deadlifts. And then deadlifts, you guys saw, felt okay. Just like I said, pretty detrained, but I'm just focusing on keeping good tension off the floor and then having that lockout be very segmented. So like, let the quads go, then let the hips come through. Nala, come here. Now you don't want a tension? Oh, you want the strap, don't you? No? Alright, you got something on your nose. Anyway, that's it for today's session. I'll show you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow I have bench and belt squat, and then I'll have a nice off day in between, and then you guys will get that second video. I'm trying to make sure that I lift. What's so funny, man? I'm trying to make sure that I really make every rep look clean, especially with how low the percentages are right now. Through squats, like I said, with this adductor pain, I really couldn't push with a lot of force on the concentric just because the nature of the injury, your muscles are gonna hurt when you're using them, and to initiate the squat and to get in the hole of the squat, you need your femurs to internally rotate, which obviously the adductors play a huge role in creating that action, and that joint action is just very painful. So I kind of had to just like brace and just let the tension bring me back up and not actually push as hard as I could. So I'm really hoping to get this fixed, have an actionable plan to move forward on so I can get back to normal. Oh, now you want to fight. Yeah, you want to fight? Get back to normal, make sure that all my reps look really technically proficient. But that's it for this section of this video. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Probably we'll be going back to ProFit to use the pitch shark because Nick got the worst belt squat ever.
It's the best piece of equipment ever made.
If you guys ever use the, what's it called?
Bells of Steel?
Bells of Steel.
You're gonna fucking love it.
You're gonna break your chin against the crossbar because like if you try to squat straight down and like really get into your quads when you use it, the crossbar that you hold onto is like right underneath your chin. You'd have to like really sit back into it, but that's again not why I use the belt squat. I try to mimic like a more upright, lots of forward knee travel, squat movement so that I can use that as a supplement for my regular squat, and that's worked amazingly over the past year. That added like 10 kilos to my squat over last winter, so I'm hoping that once I'm healthy I'll be able to do the same. But anyway, you guys got to trust your programming. I'm very excited to be working with Ben. I trust very much the plan that he has laid out. and I'm excited to show you guys the next 6 weeks. So I'm gonna stop rambling and on to Tuesday. Mala, you fucker. Alright. I'm sweating my balls off, and no, it is not because I just worked out already and I'm filming the intro for you guys after the workout. I promise I don't do that ever. You were before. This is before right now. This is the before. I just got off the bike and then sauna'd. I'm doing this to try to calm down my nervous system a little bit prior to using the belt squat today, because my adductor just really fucking hurts and I'm trying to find ways to work around it. Pat Davidson gave me a recommendation for a PT that I'm going to be going to see really soon, but I'm doing what I can right now. So that sauna, in the beginning I thought it was a great idea, and then I realized I'm going to have the most difficult time in the world getting my knee sleeves on, because that was probably like the second hottest sauna that I've ever stepped foot into. Honestly, only beaten by the sauna that I used in Belarus. I didn't even use it in Belarus, that's the worst part. It was Daniela's first Worlds, and I got into the sauna with her to kind of like be by her side while she lost the last couple pounds to make weight. And the doorknob, it was a metal, it was like a brass fucking doorknob on a sauna door, and it was like burning red. It was the hottest sauna I've ever been to. This is definitely a close second. So if I were competing locally ever, I would definitely use this sauna. It's like 2 minutes away from my house, but I feel good, I feel relaxed, which is ultimately was the goal of this, to try to kind of reduce that tone and reduce, or I guess like kind of suppress that high stress side of your nervous system. And I'm gonna move on into my drills now, and then I'll show you guys the pitch shark work. Today I have 5 sets of 10 on pitch shark, and then I'm gonna head over to United to do my bench press and other, you know, bodybuilding work. But obviously, since I've told you guys this already, this is the only gym that has a pitch shark, really. So, need a new tripod handle. This thing's garbage. I know I hate going back and forth between gyms, it's kind of annoying, but when the pitch shark, like literally there's like one other gym in like all of New York that is hours away from me that has one of them. It's just too convenient that I have one like 5 minutes away from my house. I actually just recorded this whole ramble. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit more concise right now. I already dealt with my battery dying on this camera, and then also my memory card filled up, and the camera doesn't make noise when your memory card fills up. So I recorded this whole thing sitting talking to you guys for like 7 minutes, and then I found out within like the first minute and a half it didn't even record. So anyway, ramble and the rant that I said before was that this is an intro week for me, and even the next couple weeks are kind of like easing into getting more intense and kind of ramping up. But I feel like I can't even handle those next steps yet. Like I feel like my body is only capable of handling exactly what I have on the program this week. Like I'm here, I don't feel super high energy. I don't know what exactly is causing that. It could be that I ate gluten the other night, and no, that's not like a meme or a joke. Like I definitely have a gluten allergy. There's a whole host of problems that I'm not gonna get into that happen when I eat it. But one of the side effects for me is that I get incredibly tired, and caffeine just doesn't have the same effect on me. And I noticed that after switching to being gluten-free for like a month and then trying it again, like the effects were like almost immediate. But this is what I was talking about before when I was recording for you guys, is that I feel like I'm only equipped to handle exactly what I have this week, and it sucks because like I've done so many other meets where my base coming out of that meet was so much higher than it is right now, and it sucks like knowing that you've been knocked down a few notches, right? But you have to remember that, and I talked about this in my last video, you have to remember that at one point in your lifting career, like, you were here, right? You're here now, and then you had some sort of injury or some shit happen, you get knocked down to here, right? But at one point in your lifting career, you were working up to being here, right? This was like your best form up to that point, and you were super fucking hyped to be there, and you kept doing everything you could to inch, and get to where you were before, right? So at some point you were here, and you were really fucking excited about continuing to go up. So if you get knocked from here to here, like, why are you gonna stop? Why would you just like dwell and like worry about the past? Like the only thing that you can do moving forward, move forward, right? Like the only thing that you can do to possibly get back to this point is readapt that mindset that you had when you were here and readapt that mindset when you were down here originally, right? So I know that I've said this shit so many times. I know that I rant, blah, blah, blah. But like it is really, really, really important to remember that at one point you were doing everything you could, and this was your best form, and you did everything you could to get from here to where you are now. Right? So you have to do all those same things, and you're going to get there quicker because the setbacks, right, they happen quickly and it sucks, but you also build back up way quicker than when you were first down here and just had to genuinely like build a new foundation. But I luckily have time. Like I've spoken to Ben about this, and I have lots of time to get back to normal. X, can you check that it's still recording for me? Just look at the screen. Is it still going? All right, cool. So my memory card is not filled up yet. I have like a bunch of them, but for some reason I only brought one today because I'm a fucking idiot. But anyway, I'm not competing until May. So this is really like the only time I've had in the past couple of years to be like, okay, I can take this time to rebuild. I can take this time to be patient. I can take this time to test things, to try things, to just like let go of that like excitatory stress you get from like going from meet to meet. Because I have so much time before I compete again. I know I really wanted to do the Arnold. I really wanted to compete like relatively soon. But I just have to get back to where I was. I'm not stepping on the platform again with like a squat performance like I had at Nationals. So I'm done with the metaphorical bullshit, existential crisis, yada yada. I know my lifting sucks, whatever. I'm gonna go barbell row now, and I'm actually gonna stop talking. Barbell rows, 185 pounds, 4 sets of 10, RPE, I don't know, 8. Let's do it. Killed me with back accessories today. So I had like 4 or 5 sets of each of those. I suck at pen lay rows, I suck at seal rows, but both of them are definitely going to help with my deadlift and probably with my squat a little bit. So I'm thankful that I got those programmed. Also, hit up some bicep curls. I know you guys see these fucking guns over here. Hit up 4 sets of 12, baby. Get into my next bodybuilding show. I need to start doing more arms. I don't think it's gonna hurt. I think it would just probably help to have stronger structures around the body parts that are moving bench press. So that's it for today's session. We're gonna go home now. I bought a bunch of really nice steaks today. Sorry, X, but I got a bunch of really nice steaks today. I'm gonna dry age this this big picanha roast that I got. So now I'm gonna sub out. I think I remember showing you guys. I was dry aging that beef tenderloin that's gonna be done in like 2 days. So I'm gonna take that one out, and I'll probably show you guys that in the next video. And then I'm gonna throw in this picanha to dry age. I'm gonna go home and cook some steaks. I'm gonna show you guys how to cook a steak properly at the end of this video real quick. And then that'll be it for episode 1 of Blame Ben. This new series, I'm gonna call it Blame Ben. So this is Blame Ben, episode 1. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know, like I said, that my weights are going to be predetermined forward, but again, this training methodology is pretty different than what I would have programmed for myself. So I'm just really excited to show you guys all of that, and I hope you really enjoyed this episode, at least the training side of it. Now, we get to eat some meat! Guys, so we're back home. I've eaten so high fat today and low carb already, I might as well just eat these 2 steaks. I like reverse searing my steaks. I think it gives it a more even cook. So what I'm doing right now, getting the oven ready. I have the cast iron in the oven, heating it up, getting it nice and hot. What I'm gonna do in a second, I'm gonna oil these steaks up, just use regular olive oil, and I'm gonna throw it in there until it gets to about 110 to 115 degrees. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the cast iron out, I'm gonna put it on here. Whoa, this thing is really unreliable. I'm gonna take the steaks off and let them rest, let them cool down, and then pat them dry. And then I'm gonna crank the heat up on the stove top, let the cast iron get really hot, and then I'm going to butter-based sear these steaks. I'll show you guys what that looks like in a little bit. But for now, I gotta sensually rub my steaks. All right, guys, so it's been about 15 minutes letting the pan get hot. Steaks are ready to go. What I did was I just trimmed off kind of like the silver skin, which is like connective tissue, and some of the hard fat on the outside, just to use to kind of render down later. But I'm gonna throw these in now. See, the plate or the pan should be pretty hot when you guys start. Like if you put the steaks on and they're not sizzling, then you definitely know that the pan is not hot enough. So what I'm gonna do now, close that, let that sit in there, and I'll see you guys in a little bit when we take it out to sear. All right, guys, so here we are about 10 minutes later. The beef has sat, and I know it looks pretty gross right now. It almost looks like boiled. It's because we didn't cook it all the way through, but as you guys can see, it still is rare to medium rare. Been letting it sit, let it dry, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to salt it, I'm going to pepper it, and then I have this going over here, getting it crazy hot. I'm going to use some of that fat and render it down to coat the pan. This will have a higher smoke point than if I used olive oil, to see how it's melting on the pan. Right, I'm going to use this, and then once these are seasoned up, I'm going to do it immediately. So right before I want to throw the steaks on, I'm going to season them and then just immediately get them going. So this is going here. I'll show you guys when this is seasoned, and then we're going to sear this up on here. Cue the meat didn't go as planned post, because the meat didn't go as planned. I cooked it perfectly, but I smoked out my entire kitchen, so I had to put the camera away. I had to make sure that I was maintaining everything and not causing a fire. But look at that. So without further ado, I'm gonna cut these guys for you real quick on camera, close up, slow-mo. How you doing? Yeah, you guys like that close-up, don't you? Yeah. Look at it. Looks good, doesn't it? All right. So you always want to make sure to use a sharp knife to cut your steak. I'm gonna cut in the strip first for you guys. Oof. Guys, come on. Who does it better than your boy? There's a beautiful medium rare to rare piece of steak right there. And then the ribeye looks just as good. Now, I know some of you are gonna say, Sean, that steak's not cooked enough, but honestly, this is the way I prefer to eat my steak. Rare to medium rare, in my opinion, for steak is the only real way to do it. And you gotta cut with a good knife, guys. You have to cut with a good knife because it changes the taste and the texture of the beef. If you're using a piece of crap knife and you're just shredding that steak up into a billion pieces, it's just gonna taste crappier. Oh my God. I swear, guys, like one day, I promise you one day, I'm gonna have a restaurant and it's gonna be an omakase style restaurant, and it's gonna serve high-end beef and high-end sushi. If you guys wanna come, there's only gonna be limited number of seats. All right, so I can't lie to you guys, I already took a bite, but just for video's sake, first bite. You guys see it? All right. If you have a quality piece of meat, a good sear, sufficient salt and pepper, it doesn't matter if it's rare. It is going to be so tender and so flavorful. This is amazing. I'm in heaven right now. These shakes are so good. Thank you guys so much for watching episode 1. I know this ended in a kind of weird way, so if you're really into meat, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're not and you stuck around, I thank you for being interested in one of my other passions that doesn't include lifting. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Remember, no bad days. And I'll see you guys in the next video.